And now welcome inside the Collins Arena as we get set for Jersey Blues basketball here on Brookdale TV. Brian Goudsward, Tim Catalfamo here with you as number 7 Brookdale takes on number 10 Rowan College Cumberland in round 1 of the Region 19 tournament. And Tim, this was a Brookdale team, had some ups and downs this year, but they were integrating a lot of freshmen into the mix throughout the year. Took some time to gel, but in the end, here they are again in the postseason.
Yeah, on the Brookdale side, I think finally they're hitting their stride at the right time of the year. Coach C.S.J has been trying to kind of meld this very young team throughout the season, and I think finally they're starting to be able to click off some really good wins. They had a very good win against Camden, their final regular season game on the road a couple of days ago, so they come in with some momentum, and this is a team in Cumberland that they just recently beat here in the Collins Arena. So for Brookdale, they feel pretty confident. For Cumberland, this is going to be a major game for them, a big test on the road in a different building here in the Collins Arena, but they certainly have a very talented team as well. So should be a great game for the opening round of the Region 19 tournament.
Yeah, these two teams split the meetings during the season. As you mentioned, the last one, and each team won on its home floor. And we'll give you the starting lineups as they are being introduced in front of us as we speak. And there you see Rowan Cumberland, and their lineup will be Jonathan Thomas, Max Cruz, Phil Cicero, the star, with Alfonso Smith and Charles Sapp. Very much the regular unit for head coach Darren Stalling. And for the Jersey Blues, starting 5 today, Jelani Carter, Dave Calloway, Tyler Hawkins, Adam Kukai, and Alan Ozoji.
Yeah, a little bit of a different look for the Jersey Blues this time around. Brookdale trying to start things off a little bit differently. We really haven't seen Adam Kukai too many times in the starting lineup this afternoon or this season. So he's in the starting lineup this afternoon along with Dave Calloway. So a little bit of a different look for the Jersey Blues to start things off this afternoon.
And you saw a moment ago Tyler Hawkins being introduced. What a second half to the season it has been for the sophomore who joined this team second semester and has been the leading scorer more often than not. He's almost carried the team on his back since he's become a part of things here.
And that's what Brookdale was waiting for. The first half of the year we talked about a little bit shaky of a start for the Jersey Blues. They didn't really come out of the gate all that strong, but once they got Tyler Hawkins on the team, they had a little bit more consistency and a little bit more control on offense. As a point guard, you have to take a lot of that responsibility. Tyler Hawkins has been able to take that responsibility this season, and we've seen the results so far.
And the officials for this afternoon's game, Tom Fitzgerald, Matt Wolski, and Ryan Curtis. And the Region 19 tournament is about to be underway, and here we go with Brookdale controlling the opening tip. Into the hands of Calloway to get it started. Carter sees a double team, flings it cross court, but that sails to the bench of the Dukes. And a Brookdale turnover to open things up.
And you notice how Cumberland starts in a 2-3 zone. Nice job by Cumberland staying in their positions in that zone defense. Brookdale really couldn't get anything going into the paint. It led to an early turnover.
Rowan Cumberland overall at 16-11. That was the mark during the regular season. Alfonso Smith gives it up. Thomas puts it on the floor, drives, stripped. And it'll stay with Cumberland, 9 seconds to shoot.
It looks like Jelani Carter may have swatted that out of bounds. We'll see if Cumberland can try to work here for a good shot with 9 to shoot.
Shot clock winding down. Into the hands of Cicero, driving baseline, tough shot, blocked by Ozoji. He stays with it, misses, and the rebound taken by Carter. Here's Kukai to the basket for the first bucket of the ball game.
And that's just not very good transition defense for Cumberland. They had a bad miss at the other end. The shot clock was winding down. Brookdale gets the rebound and pushes the ball effortlessly up the floor.
Good position for Sapp, and that was too easy.
And we saw the last time these two teams played, Brian, Charles Sapp got into a lot of foul trouble early on in the game and really wasn't much of a factor. If he can stay out of foul trouble, though, he's going to be a force down low for Cumberland.
Tied at 2, just underway. Callaway fires a long ball, and it's way short. Now, Callaway sometimes likes that long jump shot, and that was an errant shot that time as the Dukes bring it across. Thomas curling. Cicero using the SAP screen, steps back. Work it around to Alfonso Smith. He can't connect, and Callaway the rebound.
And you saw Sapp go out there and set that screen. He was open, but Cumberland could not get him the ball, and that's why they had to take a tough shot as the shot clock was winding down.
Second Brookdale turnover, so they haven't gotten off to a good start. 2 turnovers and an errant three-pointer. Callaway picks up Thomas. Carter bodying up on Smith. Shot clock inside of 10. 3 on the way. Thomas missed it, and Hawkins the rebound. Here's Carter, gets to his spot. Jumper too strong, and here comes Cruz. Kukai drawing the assignment on Cicero. He can't convert, but there's a foul. Smith got the offensive rebound, and it's going in Brookdale's direction. First foul of the game is on Cumberland.
And so far, we've seen some not-so-great looks for both offenses this afternoon. Brookdale, that 3 by Callaway, kind of an inerrant shot, not really the best look in the world, especially early on in the shot clock. Kind of sloppy on offense. And for Cumberland, they've really been struggling to try to get the ball inside to Charles Sapp.
It's taken away by Cruz. 2-on-1 developing. Cruz takes it himself, and a blocking foul is called against Callaway. And so Max Cruz to shoot the first free throws of the game.
And you can't blame Dave Callaway there for not trying to take a charge. We've seen that several times this season. Callaway not afraid to try to put himself between the defender and the basket. And has taken several charges this year, but good aggressiveness there by Cruz, taking it to the rim.
64% free throw shooter.
And, you know, Brian, I was talking to some of the coaching staff for Cumberland before the game, and they told me if we could just shoot better at the line, we would have we'd have a lot more success during these tight games that they have had. And they've had several close games this season. This is a team that struggles at the foul line. It's not one of their strengths. And they told me specifically, if we can just shoot better at the line, we would be in so many close games, it would give us an edge.
Kukai got bumped. Carter fires away. Ozoji tracks down the offensive rebound. May have gotten away with shuffling the feet, but he's not going to get away with a jump ball as Sapp was there for the tie-up, and that'll give it to Cumberland. Low-scoring start. It's a 3-2 advantage for the visitors. Cumberland hasn't played in a week. It was a week ago today when they were at Atlantic Cape and got the victory, 107-98. Sapp counted, and Charles Sapp has 2 easy buckets early.
And a great job by Sapp backing down Alan Ozoji before he got the ball. He got it at the right time and then was able to turn around and just do a baby hook.
Still trying to find a rhythm offensively. It hasn't been there to start. Carter for Callaway, tries another. This one, good!
And that was a nice shot by Callaway, and good for Brookdale that it went in because they are continuing to struggle to move the ball around. This 2-3 zone defense that Cumberland has been in has really slowed Brookdale down in this first half.
Jonathan Thomas. And Sapp somehow able to control it, but he saved it to the wrong team. Ozoji ensures he gets it to a guard. Kukai, that's an open look. Doesn't go. And the rebound to Smith. Cruz. About 5 minutes gone by. Comes back for Cruz. Shot clock at 12. Cruz, pull-up jumper, short, and on a bounce to Carter. He's looking to run. C.S.J stumbled. Around the perimeter, and Carter in and out for 3. Smith. Cruz got a bump. He'll reset. Cruz driving, stripped. And he lost it. It's Brookdale basketball. Here's the first substitutions of the game. Demir Fitch, Beon Wilson in for C.S.J and Carter.
Yeah, Beon Wilson, somebody that we usually see in the starting lineup. And Demir Fitch, one of those players, Brian, that we've talked about the last couple of weeks, has really started to shine, especially in the month of February.
Had a nice game against Rockland, the last home game we did a week ago today. Brookdale closed out with a road contest at Camden. Here is Hawkins. Tough shot, no. Wilson has it blocked. Smith got a hand on it, and now it's numbers for the Dukes. Pull up 3, Cruz, no. And Wilson takes the rebound. Hawkins with a head of steam. Shovel it inside for Wilson. Callaway an open 3. He's got it.
Well, we've seen Brookdale so far in this first half live and die by the 3, but Callaway's got 2, and Brookdale's up by 3 now, Brian.
8-5 Jersey Blues. Cicero has been blanked so far. That's a rarity. On the drive is Thomas, hanging, and he hits. Going glass, strong move.
And Cumberland's going to need Jonathan Thomas to have a very good game. We saw that the last time these two teams played was very proficient from behind the three-point line.
Oh, it's the Dave Callaway show. He's got 9, 3 of them from behind the arc.
Well, we saw him on sophomore night a couple of weeks ago against Rockland play really well, was kind of fired up for that game because it was his kind of swung sans game, so to speak, but really was able to step up and play well. He's really playing well so far this afternoon.
Thomas pass into the hands of Smith. In traffic, he missed it. Comes back for Thomas, and good defense down near the basket. Potentially a 5-on-4 advantage for Brookdale. Callaway bobs away, and he's fouled. And Dave Callaway will shoot 3.
And that's not going to make head coach Darren Stalling all that happy on the bench for the Cumberland County Dukes. You do not want to foul someone from behind the three-point line. And Callaway really kind of forced that. I'm kind of surprised that he took that shot. I know he's feeling it, but he's got 3 foul shots now at the line.
And when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. We see that sometimes from Jelani Carter. Callaway doing his best work in the first 7 and change minutes. He hits the first 2. Substitution, Nazir Warren for Cumberland. Replaces the big man Sapp. And Callaway, 12 of Brookdale's 14 points. That's efficiency. Cicero going behind the back. Jumper for Warren is way off. May have been blocked. And not expecting the pass was Wilson or Kukai, but it stays with the Jersey Blues. Kukai can't hit the 3, and the rebound is handled by Smith, and it'll be Duke basketball. Not the Blue Devils, but the Rowan College Dukes. So Brookdale, after a slow start, they've gotten hot from three-point range and have opened up a 7-point lead. Cicero, he's got his first 2, and he is tough going to the basket.
And it's going to be important for the Dukes to get Cicero involved in the game in some way. He averages over 22 points a game, so If you're the Dukes, you got to get him somehow involved. He's been fairly quiet. As you mentioned, Brian, that's only his first points.
Hawkins knocks it down. Long two-pointer for the sophomore, who has averaged Brookdale's leading scorer and has averaged double figures every game since he's joined this team. Scored in double figures, I should say. Here he's defending against Cruz. Jumper way off. Hawkins may have gotten a hand on it. Brookdale's been aggressive on the defensive side, contesting shots. Hawkins to the basket. Circus layup for two.
And a great job by Hawkins there, taking advantage of Cumberland being out of position. Max Cruz thought he was fouled. I think Tyler Hawkins did get away with a personal that time, but great awareness getting down the floor.
That's Nazir Warren. Cuts the deficit to 7, 18-11, Brookdale. Hawkins directing.
You see Cumberland now has changed up their defense. It looks like they're going to a 3-2 zone because Brookdale's taking so many outside shots.
And it's working. Hawkins connects. Brookdale has been shooting the lights out from out behind the arc. Cicero is looking for a call. He'll get the basket. Fitch, and that was well contested, and it's into the hands of Thomas. Taking on three Brookdale defenders, and he scores! Oh, wow. And a quick timeout taken by Cumberland after the made basket.
Well, that's twice now that Thomas and Cicero have gone to the rim on the last two possessions, Brian, and have drawn some contact, and they've not gotten a call. So Cumberland getting a little bit frustrated because they felt now twice that there should have been a foul that was called, an N1 opportunity for their team. It was not. And they're starting to gain a little bit of momentum the last couple of minutes, especially taking it to the rim, which was something that they weren't doing when the game started a few moments ago.
Both of these teams mirror each other in that in a lot of ways it was up and down seasons for both. They both had winning streaks and losing streaks. In fact, Rowan had three separate three-game losing streaks, and you think with that kind of a season it would be hard to make the postseason, but they were able to work through the ups and downs, as was Brookdale. Jersey Blues nearly turn it over, and Hawkins able to stay on the ground with it, and that's going to keep it with the Jersey Blues. Fitch into the lane with a shot. Doesn't get the roll, and Cicero the rebound. Running in transition, poked away from behind, and he lost it.
Yeah, Cicero just trying to do a little bit too much there. But again, I like the aggressiveness trying to go to the rim. That's where Cumberland is going to beat Brookdale, I feel, going to the rim, trying to get that ball inside.
Wilson slips it to the wrong team. Max Cruz can't bank it in. Tipping by Thomas, no. Brookdale the other way. Kukai puts a move. Wilson the offensive rebound. Fitch, a jumper. He's got it.
And that's really kind of Demir Fitch's spot. He likes that jumper about 15, 16 feet away from the basket. When he's open, especially around inside of the three-point line, pretty hard to stop him.
Cruz, hard drive. He traveled. DeAndre Smith checks in for the first time for Brookdale, replacing Callaway. And Callaway gets around to high fives, and boy, are they well-deserved. 12 first-half points for the sophomore. Cutting to the basket is Hawkins, and he lays it up and in. Nice find from Smith.
And that time, Brookdale gave Cumberland a dose of their own medicine. Again, I mentioned they were in a 3-2 zone, trying to defend an outside shot. Brookdale said, okay, fine, we'll take it inside. And Hawkins went right along the baseline. Nobody was there.
Cicero. Smith fires, and he hits. Alfonso Smith from deep. Come up on 8 minutes to go. First half action. Round 1, Region 19 tournament. Here is Hawkins. That one doesn't go. Rebound Warren. High stepping is Cruz. Thomas into the paint. Tough shot, and he's fouled. Tyrese Bryant readies to check in on the Brookdale side after Thomas's first attempt, the freshman from Vineland. I don't know if you noticed this, but the hometowns represented by Cumberland, it seems that there's about 3 for the whole team.
Well, they're from South Jersey, and that's something interesting. Actually, I was talking to some of the coaching staff. They're getting ready next year to bring in a lot of players, not just from the South Jersey area, but from Central Jersey, from North Jersey, because of the not only connections that head coach Darren Stalling has, but a lot of his assistants have. So they're recruiting very well, and they really kind of do own that South Jersey area, which has a lot of talent. And they all come to Cumberland when they're ready to play community college basketball. And we've seen over the last several years Cumberland be a very tough team to play any time of the season in the conference.
Smith, high off the window, no good. Fitch going behind the back at midcourt. Bryant for Smith, back and forth it goes. Hawkins. Smith fires a 3. He connects.
That was just great ball movement. Just about everyone on that possession touches the ball for Brookdale.
As Cruz missed it off the window, the save, Sapp comes up with it, and he is called for steps. He shuffled the feet down near the basket. It's Brookdale basketball. Reset the Brookdale lineup. They had Bryant, Smith, Hawkins, Wilson, and Fitch. Up by 9. Winner of this game today will meet Montgomery, the number 2 seed in the Region 19. Bryant, now Wilson, ball movement again. Shot clock's down to 8. Hawkins fading away, and Smith the rebound. Cicero able to catch down low, working hard, banks it in.
I tell you what, Phil Cicero has drawn a lot of contact in this game. That's 3 or 4 times now he's been in the paint. Sometimes he's made that bucket, other times he has not, but not afraid to draw some contact, looking for a foul that last time in the paint.
Cross court, intercepted. Here's Thomas, one-on-one in the break. Poked away by Smith. Thomas stays with it and gets the bucket. 28-23, Brookdale. About 5.5 to go, first half. Bryant. Double teamed. Wilson on the low block, backing in through the hands of Hawkins, and he can't get to it. Jelani Carter, Alan Ozoji, 2 of the starters, return to the floor. Hawkins will get his first breather, and Beon Wilson joins him. These 2 teams were separated by just 1 game in the standings during the regular year. That is Cruz, and he goes glass. Ozoji, Carter, first attempt, in and out, and it's rebounded by Cruz. Smith thought about it. Smith defending against Cicero. Cruz lines it up. No, and the rebound is to Ozoji. Had some competition for it, but Brookdale comes the other way. Smith. A foul out top committed by Thomas. Game has been light on fouls here in the first half. That's always a plus.
And the other thing that's been very interesting in this first half is how many threes we have seen. Now, we saw that last weekend against Rockland Community College. Both those two teams took a lot of threes, Brookdale and Rockland, on both sides, popping that three from behind the three-point line to some success. But that's not really the strength of either of these two teams in this matchup this afternoon. So I'm really surprised that we've seen that type of offense. It's worked. We've mentioned Dave Calloway knocking down a lot of three-point shots, but that's not really how they run their offense. But that's how this first half has gone.
And Calloway throws it away. Not on the same page with Carter. Smith, blocked by Wilson, and it stays with the Dukes. There's head coach Darren Stalling, who makes a substitution with Nazir Warren replacing Sapp. Stalling, the second-year head coach for Cumberland. Postseason appearances in both of his years. In fact, last year they knocked off Brookdale in this round. Smith gets the roll.
And we're starting to see Cumberland be able to penetrate and get into the paint. Brookdale's having difficulty once that ball gets there, stopping any type of penetration. And Cumberland's been able to claw their way back into this game.
Ozoji can hit, Cicero the rebound, and the Dukes with a chance to take the lead on this possession. Smith tries to do that. He falls down. There's no call. He was looking for a foul. Ozoji tries a three. Brookdale has gone cold from the perimeter all of a sudden. Here is Cicero taking it himself. He gets it to go down +1. And Cicero is tough to keep quiet for too long. And he's gotten going. That's 8 points and a chance to add one more.
Well, I mentioned how Cicero has been attacking the rim. He gets the basket to go. He draws the foul. The other interesting thing to make note of, Brian, is they called a flop warning on one of the Cumberland players. I think they got Max Cruz. He was the one that just took that three and was falling down almost as if he got hit. They called a flop warning on him. And remember, if you're unfamiliar with that rule, flop warning if you're trying to draw a foul and play like you got fouled, or you fall down to the court trying to draw the whistle on the officials. If you get that call against you, if it happens again, it's a technical foul. So that's the first flop warning on Cumberland.
Carter for two. Yes. Brookdale back in front. Loatman, who's checked in, somehow able to save it. Now Smith cuts through the paint. He can't convert. And another possession will belong to Rowan. Shot clock at 20. Inbounder is Cruz. Should say they reset the shot clock to 13. Lob it out top. Smith. Warren from the foul line. And Ozoji's got it. Ahead is Calloway. No hesitation. Oh, my goodness. Dave Calloway continues to shine.
And I think that was one of the most awkward shots I've ever seen. He almost kind of parted his legs as he was shooting, but is he able to knock it down? Definitely feeling it from behind that three-point line. Incredible.
And that travel on Nazir Warren will give it back to the Jersey Blues. Dave Calloway has 15 first-half points. Brookdale up 4. Under 2 minutes to go now in the half. Carter stepping back. Calloway again! Not this time. It's rebounded by Cruz. Cruz will go to the line. I think they're going to get Callaway this time on the foul, and it's Brookdale's fourth.
And where Cumberland has been successful is on Brookdale misses at the one end. They've been able to run down the floor. Brookdale has had difficulty stopping the ball, which has either led to quick baskets in transition or opportunities for Cumberland to score from the foul line. So that's something that if you're Coach Chizak, you've got to be able to tell your players to adjust to. Stop that ball. Do not allow Cumberland on a miss to be able to easily run down the court and get a quick, easy shot in the lane at the other end.
Callaway gets a breather. The only blemish is that he's committed 2 fouls. Cruz' second attempt, it's good. Fitch. Blocked, stays with it. No, C.S.J. battling, can't finish, and Sapp finally the defensive rebound. Taken away in the backcourt, and then back for Loatman to the basket. Oh, he converts. And there appears there may be an injured Rowan College Duke. Smith is walking gingerly. What a shot by Loatman. I think Smith just trying to walk it off. Tightly contested first half. We'll hit the 1 minute mark. Brookdale holding on by 1. Smith poked away. 12 seconds to shoot. Disorganized possession. Carter knocks it down.
And you mentioned it, Brian, just a little bit disorganized for Cumberland. Everyone out of position, and Carter is able to drain that 3.
Foul on the entry pass. Sapp would have had an easy one, but the Brookdale foul prevents that. Sapp has done well to position himself right near the basket, and when they found him, he has turned it into points.
Well, he did that earlier in the first half, and I called him out on it. He starts backing up his defender before he gets the ball, and Cumberland has the awareness to realize that's what he's doing. They get him the ball right at the spot that he needs it, right in that low post area. Alan C.S.J, though, committed the foul before that opportunity for Sapp.
This time it's into the hands of Smith. Taking it himself, missed the layup. Cicero comes down with the rebound, leads Loatman up the floor, and he's got 2 more. Shot clock now turned off. Inside 20 seconds. Brookdale 36, Rowan 34. Probably would expect Brookdale to take a 3 with the success they've had in this first half. Carter looking, puts it up. This one is short. And the half runs out. C.S.J did not get it off in time, and the first half is in the books. The score after 20 minutes, Brookdale 36, Rowan 34. And a very interesting first half of action in the first round of this Region 19 tournament matchup, and we've talked about it so far. Brookdale kind of going against the playbook so far. Normally, they're very much a run-and-gun style team, score in transition. In this first half, though, it was all about the outside shooting and led by Dave Callaway.
Yeah, it's kind of become like the new normal for Brookdale. We talked about that Rockland game last week. That was Brookdale's offense. They come out here very early on in the game and take a lot of threes, led, of course, by Dave Callaway, who has made some really incredible plays. But Cumberland, as I mentioned a moment ago, is starting to beat Brookdale in transition off of a Brookdale miss. They're getting a lot of transition penetration towards the rim. After Brookdale misses a shot, Brookdale's having difficulty stopping the ball, and that's where these points are coming from for Cumberland in this first half. So if you're Coach Chizak, you've got to make an adjustment for that. If you're Coach Stalling on the side for Cumberland, I think you've got to get that ball inside to Charles Sapp a little bit more. He really was on the bench for a good majority of the first half. We didn't really see too much action. He's not in foul trouble, so I'm kind of surprised they haven't utilized him that much.
So this the third meeting of the season between these two teams. This, though, is the one that matters as the winner continues on their season and will meet Montgomery. We're at the halftime break right now. Brookdale up by 2. Tim and I will come back when the second half is ready to begin here on Brookdale TV.
Are you guys ready to be part of Biology Club? Because I'm not. Let's hear more about it. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So you guys are in front of this amazing Biology Club poster. Can you tell me about Biology Club?
Well, last semester we did yoga, we had a stack and study, we did essential oils. We went to the cadaver lab at Rutgers, so that's me holding a brain. And we had the dire wolves from Game of Thrones come too.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so this is crazy. So I am not a huge fan of biology, but I love yoga and essential oils.
Yeah.
So can anyone join this club even if they're not like biology majors?
We want them to.
So yeah, anyone can join the club. You don't have to be a bio major or anything like that. It's for everyone to come. We're doing studying sessions and stuff like that. We have free pizza, so all the good stuff.
Biology is like a really, obviously med school and everything's really hard to get into. So having all these extracurriculars on your resume can't hurt, right?
No, it cannot hurt at all.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back inside the Collins Arena, Brian Gadsworth, Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our Brookdale TV crew with you today. Round 1, Region 19 tournament. As Rowan Cumberland opens up with possession, and Cruz, who knocks down a 3-ball. And that swings the pendulum back in favor of the Dukes, 37-36. Dave Calloway, the first half star for Brookdale with 15. Hawkins, nice find, and Carter blew it. He's got the offensive rebound, and Sapp rejects it. Jonathan Thomas scores in transition.
And again, points off of a Brookdale miss. Brookdale did everything right on that offensive possession, being able to work a 2-3 zone around. They got the ball right in the low post area, just couldn't finish at the rim.
Callaway, and that one rims out. This, I believe, the largest lead for Rowan at only 3, but the momentum has been theirs of late. Thomas going at Callaway, back out for Cicero on the drive. Good defense from Carter, the poke away. Long pass. Ozoji throws it down with one hand.
And Brookdale able to convert in transition there. Cumberland's going to have to do a better job getting back on defense. Nice job by Ozoji.
Smith bodied up by Carter. Backing in, throws it inside off the glass, and Brookdale's got it.
Almost went in, actually.
That would have been something.
Seen that a couple times this year.
Callaway hard to the rim. It goes and one. Not from 3-point territory, but a chance for a 3-point play.
Well, we've talked about Dave Callaway really since the game started because he has done such a great job energizing the Brookdale offense. That time taking it himself, as you mentioned, Brian, to the rim and drawing the contact.
Give him 18 points. Picked a good time for a season best display. Brookdale back in the lead. Smith against Carter, the two number 3s battling, and Jelani commits a foul. It'll be Brookdale's first of the new half.
Yeah, I was just going to say, both Charles Sapp and Alan Ozoji have been battling downstairs for position, and Ozoji has had his hands full trying to deny Sapp the ball. That time, tried to deny him too much and picked up his second personal foul.
Looking for an option, and it's Cicero. Throw it inside. And it's last touch Brookdale. They can't believe it.
And again, you see what Cumberland is trying to do. They're trying to get Sapp involved. Brookdale kind of went to a double team as soon as Sapp got the ball.
Brookdale thought it should have been their possession. Cruz, though, for the Dukes. Sapp in trouble and turns it over. Hawkins with a 3-on-1. Hawkins all the way, off the glass and in. And there's a whistle. And are they looking for a technical foul call? Sure, we'll wait for the official indication. No, it was after the Hawkins layup that there was all sorts of commotion.
Well, I think it was just a warning. After Hawkins made that layup, Adam Kukai kind of handed the ball to Phil Cicero, who was already on the ground because he had been knocked down to the ground trying to defend Tyler Hawkins from getting to the rim. And I think the officials just didn't necessarily like that too much. I don't think it was anything blatantly intentional by Adam Kukai, but unless you have to be a little bit more careful.
Bad pass from Thomas. Brookdale takes over. Jersey Blues have Kukai, Ozoji, Callaway, Carter, and Hawkins. Original starting five on the floor. That's a turnover. Cruz unable to convert. Offensive rebound. Warren goes up, and he'll go to the line.
And that's going to be a bad foul committed by Alan Ozoji, because now that's going to be his third. And Coach Chizak is going to take a timeout as a result.
We got a full timeout, an even 17 minutes to play. Brookdale by 4. We'll be back. Brookdale 43, Rowan Cumberland 39. Winner of this afternoon's game advances to the next round of this Region 19 tournament and will meet Montgomery, the number 2 seed in the region. The semifinal and final games of the region tournament will be played at Northampton, and that'll be next weekend. Brookdale hoping their season continues. Rowan, though, standing in the way. Warren trying to convert on the shooting 2 at the line. First one, short.
And we talked about earlier the struggles that Cumberland County has had from the foul line. It's been an area that the whole coaching staff has been trying to get their players to be more efficient from. Especially when you have free looks at the basket, you've got to be able to make those points count. And Cumberland has been in so many close games this year. It's really been their nemesis. One of the two that time from the line.
Both of these teams have been in a lot of close games. Carter drills it. It's a 3 for Jelani Carter, who for much of the second half has struggled mightily to find the range from the outside. Warren misses, knocked out of bounds, and it's Brookdale ball. But if they can get Carter going consistently with Hawkins, this team is awfully dangerous. Throw in Dave Callaway contributing like he has today, they can make a run. Fitch has checked in. That's last touch, Dukes.
And something that I've noticed is now Cumberland has changed from a 3-2 zone to back to a 2-3 zone, because now they've started to see Brookdale has been getting penetration towards the bucket. So Cumberland now is trying to fill up that paint, clog the middle, almost daring Brookdale to take an outside shot.
Carter, no, as he tried from way behind the line. And Cumberland will have it. 46-40. Thomas off the glass, offensive rebound, and a foul before the shot. It'll be on Brookdale, and that is their third, as it's charged to Demir Fitch. Warren rims out, and Carter throws a long one for Callaway, able to collect and back up. Hawkins makes his move. It's a travel called on Hawkins.
And just not a very good-looking possession that time for Brookdale. Everyone positioned themselves around the three-point line, but when they were trying to work the ball around and get the ball inside in the middle, there was nobody there. So Brookdale just kind of disjointed, and that led to that turnover.
Cruz draws the foul. Free throws coming up for the Cumberland point guard. Team leader in assists, averaging about 5 a game. And he contributes scoring-wise, too, one of 4 Rowan players to average double figures, just under 12 a game. It's a Rowan team that has used the same starting lineup pretty much the entire year. 4 players all have 20 or more starts. By contrast, Brookdale has had 14 different players start a game this year. That's unbelievable.
And I think that is really just kind of a testament to how Brookdale likes to run their offense. They just want to change things up, and they've had so many moving parts this year, so many players that have played really good for a couple games. Then they've had a teammate that's been able to pick them up when they've had a struggle. So the team really is very talented, and when you can insert that many different players into the starting rotation, it means that you have a very deep bench that's full of talent.
Warren, strong move. Offensive rebound to Smith. Now inside is Thomas, who gets it to go. Hawkins is hacked. Darren Stalling disagrees on the Cumberland sideline. It's not in the act of shooting.
Well, it was close to being a travel there for Tyler Hawkins, and I think that's why Cumberland was a little bit upset at the timing of that foul.
Carter calling for it. Instead, Callaway opts for the Dukes. Poor inbounds pass that time. Thomas for 3. Offensive rebound is to Smith. Blocked by Carter. Good heads-up play that time. Now Brookdale running. It's Callaway all the way.
And anytime Brookdale has needed a basket, it's come at the hands of Dave Callaway. And once again, Cumberland having difficulty trying to stop the ball in transition off of a miss.
Cicero is called on a charge. Offensive foul on the Dukes' leading scorer. But Brookdale, for the most part, has been able to hold in check, at least by his standards. You see Callaway on the last transition basket. Giveaway. Numbers for the Dukes. It's Smith. He's all alone. Timeout. Paul Chizek frustrated with his transition defense. It is a full timeout. 6 minutes gone. Second half. 48-45. Brookdale. Back here on Brookdale TV. Glad you're with us as we start the Region 19 tournament. This the only game here on Brookdale TV today, and our final broadcast of the season. We thought at some points last week it would be our last. I think when we signed off, we thought, well, we might not see you till November, but here we are again. Final game this afternoon as Brookdale hopes their season keeps on going. Kukai a 3. He's got it. Brookdale has needed an answer. It typically has come from behind the arc. They're up by 6. Thomas somehow gets the roll. He has had some very difficult baskets.
You know, what a shot there. Just kind of threw it up there with the left hand and somehow got it to go.
Carter, long 3. Oh, yeah! Brookdale has hit a couple from Red Bank today, as that's a foul on as Cicero was driving.
And if you're Cumberland, it's frustrating because there's really not a whole lot you can do to defend. They've tried to go to a 3-2 zone defense. That didn't really work. They went back to 2-3 zone. Then they've gone most recently to man-to-man. It doesn't really seem to matter. Brookdale's just going to take those threes, sometimes contested, from way beyond the three-point line and knock them down. So it's difficult to defend. It's frustrating, especially if you're trying to get yourselves back into the game like Cumberland is. Jersey Blues just shooting the lights out. Last 2 games from behind the three-point line, really.
DeAndre Smith and Clarence Seeley is in for Brookdale. Cicero splits a pair. Cicero, the 1,000-plus point scorer for the Dukes. Remember, he did that right here at Brookdale, the only meeting here in Lincroft earlier this year. In that game, he scored 33 points. Brookdale has been tighter on him defensively today. Here comes Thomas, blocked by Hawkins as they got back in transition. Now Brookdale running this way. Carter on the floor, and a whistle. They got a timeout. Good presence of mind. That was quick.
Cruz sliding to a stop, calling timeout. That's impressive. Is this baseball season just yet? I guess we're getting getting close, I guess.
Now pitchers and catchers have reported.
Although you can't call timeout as you're sliding into the into base.
Yeah, you have to wait a little after that. Cumberland huddled up during the 30-second stoppage.
Well, even though Brookdale, Brian, has been shooting the lights out from behind the three-point line, I still believe they're going to have to do a little bit better job offensively getting that ball inside. I do not think they can continue to live and die by the three because Cumberland, to their credit, has started getting a lot of shots inside of the paint area. They've drawn some fouls in the Jersey Blues. I just don't think Brookdale can go toe-to-toe from behind the three-point line. That's not really their style. They're going to have to try to get more ball movement on the offensive end and get the ball inside.
It's a foul. It's called on Brookdale, and Paul Chizek is very upset.
Well, there was some contact between him, DeAndre Smith, and Phil Cicero. Cicero kind of backed into DeAndre Smith, so a questionable call.
Another successful year in the long tenure for head coach Paul Chizek, 28 years overseeing this program. They just continue to get the job done year in, year out. Loatman inside Smith, the catch and finish.
And that's what I'm talking about. Cumberland being able to work the Brookdale offense around late in the shot, or Brookdale defense around late in the shot clock, and then get a shot in the paint, a high percentage shot.
Hawkins hangs, comes up short. Cruz, is almost an over and back, and it was. He didn't get away with it. Thought he was for a second. It came a beat late.
And you can feel the intensity in this game starting to build just a little bit, Brian. Remember, this is a postseason game. This is not regular season anymore. You have to win to keep your season alive.
Turnover, Jersey Blues. Cruz settles it down. Loatman through the paint. Finds Smith underneath, and he's got another. It's a two-point game. Callaway off the mark. Thomas spinning. This one no good. Oh, that would have been a real treat. Went full 360. Carter comes up short. These teams getting a little too fancy.
And I think Carter may have gotten away with a walk, too, trying to catch that pass. So Brookdale's just been forcing up those threes.
Jersey Blues hanging on, just a 2-point lead. Rowan can tie or take the lead on this possession. Loatman, and a foul called. 17th foul against the Jersey Blues.
We talked about the foul trouble that Cumberland has been able to get Brookdale in. It's going to be a 1-and-1 for Loatman.
He shoots it at 60%. Celius Smith come out in favor of Beon, Wilson, and Fitch.
I think you have to credit Alonzo Smith, though, Brian, for a lot of Cumberland's comeback. Standing at 6'6", a big body inside. We've seen him make some really tough plays inside the post area and be able to finish at the rim.
Wilson unable to get the defensive rebound. Free possession for the Dukes.
There he is.
Smith! This one misses, and it's batted out for Callaway. Spinning across midcourt, and Cicero's got the steal. And stepping in front is Carter. These teams trading turnovers. Brookdale trying to take control back. Gets set up, and a foul. They're going to get Max Cruz. It's the 4th against Cumberland. This is 3rd. Bounce it in. Fitch turning. Tip in. Good for Carter.
Nice tip on by Carter, but Fitch, when he gets that basketball, has to go straight up with it. He kind of hesitated, turned around, and then took a different shot spinning away from the rim. You've got to go right up with it when you get the ball at that position.
.12 to shoot. Thomas fires. He's got it. It's a 3. Jonathan Thomas. And a 1-point game again. Past the halfway mark of the second half. High screen comes. And Hawkins is fouled on his way to the basket. Be an inbound situation. Foul is on Thomas.
And that's only the 4th team foul on Cumberland, so you can be a little bit aggressive here trying to go for the steal. You have some fouls to give. Certainly you don't want to get yourself into foul trouble and put Brookdale at the line, but doesn't hurt Cumberland too much.
And it's going the other way.
Wow.
I call a 5-second call. Smith tied up, and he has been a load here in the second half, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Brookdale just hasn't found a way to stop him. He stands at 6'6". Jelani Carter, similar in height at 6'5", matches up physically well with him, but Smith has just been able to go right around Carter, or really anybody for that matter, that's matched up one-on-one with him in the post.
Fouls are starting to pile up. 6 of them now on the Dukes. 3 on Thomas. Brookdale has committed 7. Here's Hawkins, quick catch and shoot. And the rebound is Smith.
I don't like that shot. Early in the shot clock, you've been struggling from behind the three-point line. You're not really getting high-quality looks at the rim. You've got to work around, make that defense work a little bit. Cumberland really hasn't had to work too hard on defense. I don't like that shot.
Batted, and Hawkins the steal. Doesn't get it to go, but he's fouled. We'll go to the line where he shoots it at 67% on the year. Now, the amazing thing about Hawkins is he didn't get here until the second semester, yet he's among the team leaders in starts.
Yeah, he became the leading scorer midway through the season, which is hard to do, especially when you only started at the midway point of the season. So it's really been a testament to how well he's played and how much he's been able to help this offense, especially in the second half of the year.
Scored 20-plus now in 5 of his last 6 games. Strong finish to the regular season. Brookdale back up by 1. Thomas changes that in a hurry, and Jonathan Thomas is starting to get hot.
Well, he shoots 41% from behind the three-point line. Is their best shooter from beyond the arc. Nice shot there by Thomas.
Cicero has a clear path for the bucket. Now Brookdale's getting sloppy.
And Brookdale's just hurting themselves now with these turnovers. I'm not really sure where Tyler Hawkins was trying to get the ball to. I know he was trying to get it to Carter, but you got to get the ball across midcourt. There's just no reason for a full court pass like that, especially when Carter is pretty well defended to begin with.
Approaching 8 minutes left to go. Cumberland ball +4. Cicero. He's trapped. And they call a jump ball, and possession arrow favors the Jersey Blues.
That time on defense, nice job by Brookdale collapsing once Cicero was able to get to the rim. He was triple teamed. See if Brookdale, though, can try to work for a good shot here on this possession.
It's Callaway. Kukai. And the blocking foul is the call. So Kukai to the line now.
And that's the third foul on Alfonso Smith. So we talked about how much of a presence he has been inside the paint for Cumberland. Has to be careful he doesn't pick up his fourth personal foul. Talking with the officials now, trying to explain the call.
It's your Warren jogging in. Smith goes to the bench, and you mentioned that is a break for Brookdale with the way he has handled them here in the second half.
But now you have Charles Sapp back on the floor. And again, I mentioned this at the end of the first half, Brian. I'm surprised that Cumberland wasn't utilizing him more in the game. They haven't had to, though, because they've had Alfonso Smith. Now we'll see if Sapp can try to play that same role in the post area for the Dukes.
Warren, and
it's a charge.
Is it a block or a charge? It's a charge.
And right on cue, that's Dave Callaway taking that charge. We've seen that several times this season.
Brookdale can tie on this possession with a 3. Callaway's hit a host of those today. Here he gives it up. It's Carter on the move. That may have been interfered with on the glass. I think they may count the basket. I think it's a goaltend. It is. Score the basket for Carter.
Well, I think that's a lucky break for Brookdale because I didn't see much basket interference. Maybe the rim just got touched barely. But that is I think a break for the Jersey Blues.
Well, Carter will take it. Brookdale back within 1. Darren Stalling has watched his team play a close game throughout. These two teams very evenly matched. Both games in the regular season tightly contested. Cruz, no. Kukai the rebound, and he's got it. And Carter flips it up and in.
And a nice job by Fitch finding Carter, cutting to the rim.
Thomas with a sprint back to the front court, but he couldn't convert. And a foul unnecessary when committed by Cruz. And that is going to put Rowan Cumberland at the maximum number with 10 every foul the rest of the way. 2 free throws for Brookdale. This time it'll be Kukai.
And you mentioned an unnecessary foul for Cruz. Not only was it committed in the backcourt, but that's his 4th, so he's going to have to come out of the game. Should also mention that Alfonso Smith went to the bench for Cumberland for maybe like 30 seconds, and then he came back into the game. So Cruz is on the bench for Cumberland with 4 fouls. Alfonso Smith is on the floor now at the line with 3.
Yeah, Kukai put up a free throw prior to that one, but we weren't ready. I don't know if anybody caught that, so he's got one more. He wasn't fouled from 3-point territory. Second one, no good, and it's rebounded by Ozoji, who lost the handle, loose, and Kukai scoops it up. And there's a whistle. So I guess a clock issue. 25 on the timer. We think.
Yeah, both coaches having a meeting at the scores table with head official Tom Fitzgerald. See Bo Scanapico, the women's softball coach in the red, usually handles the timing and scoring. Just trying to make sure they get this right. I think it's really just a shot clock issue. I think that's what they're discussing.
Well, Carter's taking this time to catch his breath. It's plopped down there and boundary. This is a long discussion.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit confused, too. I mean, I understand that they're trying to figure out the shot clock. You see, Carter, well, I mean, you have an opportunity to take a rest. Use it when you can get it, because I have a feeling this last 6 minutes and 7 seconds is going to be pretty wild. So
All he needs is a cold drink.
maybe a pillow or something to lean up against.
All right, so Carter gets back to his feet. We're ready to get back underway. Brookdale's applauding, and it was their ball anyway. I don't understand.
I'm totally confused. I really don't know
See,
what just transpired there.
Some things we miss being way up here. We're far away from where the officials are and the scores tables, so occasionally miss some things.
You miss all the discussions, and sometimes that's a good thing, because sometimes what's said down there you'd rather not hear. But
You mean it's not rated PG?
Possibly.
Right, the shot clock's down to 8, so they did reset the clock after all that, and Fitch can't connect. Callaway all in one motion for 2.
And just nobody boxing out Dave Callaway there. Again, how important has he been in this game for Brookdale?
He's topped the 20-point mark, and that's something he hasn't done very often this year. Loatman misses the runner. Cicero's got it back, swatted by Fitch, who came out of nowhere. Floated ahead for Callaway, behind the back. Ozoji is fouled. Oh, that would have been something. Brookdale bench was ready to erupt.
Callaway showing off there with the behind-the-back pass. I think Callaway, though, probably would have been better taking it himself and going to the rim. But Ozoji, nonetheless, at the line now.
I think this is the year that we've seen more quote-unquote highlights, right, than any other year between Wilson and his dunks on alley-oops and behind-the-back passes, Hawkins' fancy handling.
Well, those are some big shots from the line for Alan Ozoji, because now that puts Brookdale up by 6. Cumberland needs an answer here.
And it comes from Cicero. Count it and 1.
And for Ozoji, now that's his 4th foul, so decision time for Coach Chizek and company on the sidelines. Do you leave him in there, or do you pull Alan Ozoji out with 4 fouls?
has not been much of a factor here today. Normally a guy more involved in the game plan offensively. Kukai sits.
So it looks like they're going to keep Ozoji on the floor.
Cicero 65%. And it's a 3-point Brookdale lead now. We'll come up on 5 minutes left to go. Winner has their season continue and will play Montgomery. Poked away by Loatman. It's 2-on-2. Loatman racing ahead. Misses off the glass. And Ozoji the rebound. Brookdale running this way. Carter catches, fires. And Paul Chizek is not happy with his team's execution. Thomas, no for 3. Long rebound. Fitch has it, and Callaway will get Brookdale slowed down.
But it really shows you how evenly matched these two teams are, because a lot of the same mistakes that one team has made, especially as far as turnovers are concerned, the other team will make the same mistakes, sometimes in unison, right after each other.
Ozoji, smooth delivery on the jumper. In for Sapp. Ozoji, they can't save it. Stays with the Dukes.
And go ahead, Brian.
They have gone away from Sapp, I've noticed, after getting it inside a lot, especially earlier on.
And I'm kind of surprised at that, and I was just going to say, Ozoji has to be careful, because remember, he's playing with 4 fouls. That time, as he was falling down to the ground, he kind of grabbed Sapp's jersey. That easily could have been his 5th foul. So I understand he's bodying up one-on-one with Sapp, and Sapp has been a handful for him to try to cover this afternoon, but you've got to be more mindful of that and be careful. And if you're Cumberland, I would try to get it to Sapp and see if you can get a foul on Ozoji.
Instead, it's Smith backing in, up and under, and he throws it over the glass.
I think our over-the-back camera may have taken a hit there.
Smith will go to the bench. Brookdale the ball in a 5-point lead, trying to close this one out. A foul, and Hawkins will go to the line. Rowan has maxed out. Alfonso Smith was on the bench for all of maybe 8 seconds. And 2 out of 2. Brookdale's free throw shooting has improved as they went down the stretch of the season.
Especially the shooting from Tyler Hawkins. Remember, he really struggled with that last year in his freshman season. He's worked on that for sure.
It'll go in Brookdale's direction. An untimely turnover for Rowan, who, I don't know if they're running out of gas, but they don't have much time left.
Well, the passes on both sides have definitely gotten a lot more sloppy, so you have to think that that's possibly some fatigue. It's just been a very up-tempo game. But for Cumberland, you're just killing yourself with these turnovers.
Carter inside the arc. No, they call it a 3. That was close. It is a 2. I thought for sure he was inside the line. 74-65. Cruz, step back, count it. It's a 3. And a timeout taken by Cumberland. They're within 6. Take a second look. Full timeout. We'll be right back here on Brookdale TV, Region 19 tournament. 3:15 left to play. It's Brookdale 74, Rowan 68. As the Region 19 tournament gets underway, any team with a winning record during the regular season qualifies. And this matchup is a familiar one, as it was exactly these two teams meeting up in the first round last year. Cumberland that time had the advantage. Brookdale hoping for a different fate today. Callaway off the glass, no, batted around, and Fitch. Callaway, and he's fouled along the baseline by Thomas.
Now, something just to mention, Brian, the scoreboard switched from 74-68 to 75-68, and that's, I think, what the officials are discussing at the scores table. You see Coach C.S.J, Darren Stalling, and one of the other officials talking it over with some of the timing and scoring staff. I think that maybe they may have counted that long two that Jelani Carter, that we both agreed we thought was a two. I think that they may have counted that as a three.
I mean, it was clearly a two.
I thought he was within the arc, but I don't know. That's a little bit baffling to me.
And one more attempt for Callaway, who set the tone early and is arguably the difference in this game with his offensive output.
And keep
Nothing
in mind,
added to that time.
Keep in mind, there's two lines on the floor. There's that red line, that's the women's basketball three-point line, and then that blue line is where the men will shoot their three-pointers. Carter was kind of in between both of those two lines, which historically would have been a two, so I'm still kind of surprised at that.
Hawkins. Carter, jump shot, rimming, no. Tip in, Fitch stays with it. And contact, no foul called that time. And here come the Dukes. Cicero through the lane, scores. It's a three-point game, 75-72.
You see Cicero going to the rim. He got bumped just a little bit by Tyler Hawkins.
Foul on Lotman, and I just don't agree with fouling that far from the basket when it's automatically going to result in free throws.
Well, certainly it's not what you want to do. However, there has been a lot of contact both ways with Deschanel Lotman and Tyler Hawkins the last several minutes. They've been playing each other very hard one-on-one. It's only his second foul, but as you mentioned, Brian, it's two shots from the line for the rest of the game for Brookdale.
And Hawkins smoothly knocks down two. Come up on 2 minutes remaining. Cruz, no good. Long rebound, Callaway, and he's fouled. That's Thomas. And Callaway stumbling, and he'll make his way to the free throw line. And Thomas has fouled out. Impressive game for the freshman today for the Dukes, but he'll watch the final minute 58 from the bench.
Well, to Brookdale's credit, they've made their foul shots so far. Got to keep making them down the stretch. It's been an area of struggle this season, but not so far really much in this game. They've been pretty solid.
Callaway missed his last two as Sapp substitutes in. He's the replacement for Thomas.
I'm still kind of surprised that Cumberland hasn't been able to use Sapp more in this game.
It's not a surprise that Callaway, the son of a longtime basketball coach, right? You figure those kind of players know how to play the game the right way, and that's what Callaway exemplifies. He misses, though, 4 straight from the line.
And those are some big misses because now it's still only a 2-possession game.
Inside for Sapp, the catch, and he is going to the line himself.
And I think Ozoji may have fouled out of the game because he was trying to keep that ball away from Sapp, and sure enough, that's the 5th personal foul on Alan Ozoji.
So each side has now lost one. Thomas for Cumberland, Ozoji for the Jersey Blues. And Clarence Celius takes off the practice jersey, and he's on his way in.
And that potentially could be a big loss for the Jersey Blues. I know that Ozoji hasn't had that large of an impact on offense, but he has really been trying very hard defensively to keep the ball away from both Sapp and Smith.
67% free throw shooter is Sapp, who stands at 6'10". And he's got 1 out of 2.
Still a 2-possession game.
Minute 40. And Sapp the steal. Loatman on the break. Carter able to deny him, comes back out for Smith.
Loatman should have given it up to Smith there on that fast break.
Dukes will get reset. Cicero going behind the back, bodied up by Hawkins, and a foul is called. Paul Chizek begs to differ, but it is going to be free throws for Cicero, and Paul Chizek, you see there, he is incensed. One more for the star sophomore. 2 out of 2. And we will have a timeout, full timeout, minute 19 to go. Down the stretch we go in this Region 19 tournament game. First round, we'll be back on Brookdale TV. Brookdale by 2. It's 77-75 on top of the Rowan Cumberland Dukes. This one figures to have quite a finish here this afternoon. Nice crowd on hand to see it.
Well, this is a big possession for Brookdale, Brian, because not only do you have to get the ball in bounds, but I think you have to come away with some points here. Cumberland has been slowly chipping away at that lead. See what they do here out of this timeout.
Brookdale basketball. Carter looking. And get it across midcourt. Callaway to the basket. Layup, no! Cicero the rebound. The Dukes a chance to tie. Cicero on a bounce. Inside it is Smith. He stripped. And Brookdale's got it. And we are at 1 minute to play.
Hawkins nearly pushed off there on Loatman.
A lot of dribbling for Hawkins.
He's got to give the ball up. Brookdale's taking too much time here. You have a 2-point lead, but you've got to get a shot off here.
7 seconds to shoot. Hawkins making his move, gives it up. Carter for 3. Yes! And the crowd on their feet now. Cicero into the lane. Tough shot. No. Tippin doesn't go. Carter's got it. He's running. And now he can take the foul committed by Loatman. He'll go to the line. 25.3 remaining. And that's what stands between a Brookdale victory and an advancement in this Region 19 tournament.
Well, somehow, again, it's not over just yet. You still have some time. It's only a 2-possession game, even if Carter makes one shot from the line. But somehow Brookdale's found a way to pull these games out in the end. It hasn't always been efficient at times. And that was a discombobulated possession, but they're able to find Carter, and he's able to knock down a critical shot.
The lead swells to 7. Cumberland has to work quickly. Smith taking it to the basket. Callaway the save! And Carter fouled, and now they can just about ice it. Carter back to the line. He's an excellent free throw shooter, 86%. And Brookdale has made their attempts down the stretch and on their way to closing this one out.
Well, this is going to be frustrating for Cumberland because really just a moment ago they were within 2. Brookdale blew a layup at the other end. They had a great look at the rim to tie the game. They blew that. Just opportunities that you have down the stretch you were not able to convert upon. Really the difference in the game.
Shot clock is turned off. Cicero a 3. Yes. It's a 6-point game. Brookdale needs to inbound cleanly for Hawkins and a foul. Cicero gets to him immediately. And will force Brookdale to make more free throws. Paul Chizek and his staff guiding this program once again. And they have closed this one out by making their free throws. 86-78 to the last 10 seconds. Wide open for Cruz. He buries it. Brookdale just fell asleep at the wheel. And what have we? Official comes charging in. Is there about to be a mini scuffle that broke out?
Well, I don't think it was that. I just think somebody said something. I think a double technical was assessed to Celius and Sapp. You have the game in hand here, Brian, and then you do something like that where you could potentially totally change the dynamic of how these last 5 seconds are going to go. So it's just not a smart play on either side, really. I mean, if you're Charles Sapp or if you're Clarence Celius, you've just got to be a little bit smarter.
Well, they've given up 3-pointers back-to-back possessions, and that has prolonged this one. And the last one by Cruz, there was nobody in sight. I think Brookdale just thought the game was going to be over, that the Dukes would surrender, but not to be. And now we got another long sorting out.
Well, because it's a double technical, they cancel each other out, so Brookdale still has to inbound this ball. So no foul shots.
Carter inbounding. He throws it way ahead of the
boy.
floor and too far. Oh, no.
Well, now because Brookdale never touched the ball's going to be inbounded right there, right underneath Cumberland's own basket.
Just when you thought there was a bow on this one, Rowan inbounding in for Smith underneath. No, Sapp the rebound, puts it back up and in. 2.4 to go. Inbound for Kukai, he's fouled. About 1.5 seconds remain. This is the game that will not die.
And, you have to think if you're Cumberland, if you just made a couple more foul shots down the stretch. We talked about their struggles at the line this year. To Brookdale's credit, they made a lot of their foul shots. They haven't been a great foul shooting team, but they made their shots this afternoon. You have to think of what things would be like at this point in the game had that been able to work out for Cumberland.
So it's a one-possession game as it stands now. Kukai, first attempt, good, and that's a monumental make. Pretty much ice it. And it feels like it should have been iced long ago, but Brookdale struggling the last couple of possessions defensively. 2 free throws good. 1.5 seconds remain. Cicero will pick it up now, throw it from half court. And it is over. The Jersey Blues find a way, and they are moving on here in the Region 19 tournament. They will meet Montgomery, the number 2 seed in the region. The final score today, Brookdale 88, Rowan Cumberland 83. As we get set to welcome you back inside the booth with Brian Gadsford and Tim Catalfamo, and this wild game, and really it was just a game where Brookdale found a way. Early on, it was the three-point shooting. It was Dave Calloway who set the tone, and they did enough down the stretch. They made their free throws, and despite giving up a couple of threes late, did enough to close it out, and they're moving on.
Yeah, and I think really just it was foul shots down the stretch that make the difference in this game. Cumberland just missed a couple foul shots. They had plenty of opportunities at the rim, a lot of close shots at the rim that just didn't drop for them. So this is a frustrating way for them to bow out of this tournament. But for Brookdale, the three-point shooting, especially early on in the first half, I think was really something that surprised me. I didn't really expect that from this team. We saw a lot of three-point shots in the game that we did last Saturday against Rockland, but that's not really Brookdale's strength, and yet they come out in the first half, and Dave Calloway is just shooting the lights out from behind the three-point line. I don't think that's anything that not only Brookdale expected, but certainly Cumberland did not see that in the scouting report. So just an overall great game. Brookdale's able to close it out down the stretch. They didn't make it easy on themselves. They really kind of almost lost the game at a couple points, especially in those last couple of minutes. But a win is a win, and now they go on to move on in this Region 19 tournament.
And Montgomery will be up next. It's an opponent that Brookdale didn't see this season. We've seen them different times. They're one of those that they play every other year. What to expect in that upcoming matchup?
Well, it's going to be on the road, and it's a very long drive up to Montgomery for Brookdale, so that's definitely going to put them behind the 8 ball a little bit. I think the question for the Jersey Blues going forward is, can they put a full 40 minutes together? They clearly were able to do that today, but they made some mistakes, especially late down the stretch. They left the door open for Cumberland plenty of times. You can't do that against some of these other teams in the Region 19 conference. No disrespect to Cumberland. Cumberland's a very talented team, but as you move up in this tournament, you can't give teams at the top opportunities to get back in the game because they will make you pay. So that's going to be the question for Brookdale going forward.
So Brookdale's season will continue. They hope it continues for a lot longer. Should they win the region, they'll go on to the Nationals once again. But that is a wrap here for Brookdale TV this season for us. Want to thank our great crew for their work all season long, and Tim Catalfamo and I finish up a 4th season together. It's always fun.
Oh, of course. It's always a lot of fun. We enjoy it, and we like that you always tune in and enjoy watching us on Brookdale Television.
And once again, the final score, Brookdale wins it 88-83 over Rowan Cumberland. We'll see you in a new season. Thanks for watching all season long. I'm Brian Gadsford. So long from Lincroft, New Jersey.